Hello, excuse me, welcome. It's Wendy Passmore here for this week's guided prayer meditation. And I'd like us just to begin by centering ourselves in God's loving presence by taking some deep breaths, 6 or 7 deep breaths, just to center ourselves and ground ourselves in this place. We've created a sacred place here to do some reflection. Hopefully, you have a candle lit and perhaps a journal that you can do some writing in. So let's just start by 6 or 7 deep breaths just to center ourselves. And we invite the gracious, loving presence of the divine to enfold us and the power of the Holy Spirit to fill us as we journey through this next half hour together, reflecting on God's activity and presence in our life. The theme I'd like to sort of twig into today is I'm a Franciscan in spirit. That's my spiritual path. Really has been the Franciscan one. And the one thing that Francis really brought into the world, which was new when he lived in 1182 to 1224, was sort of the Dark Ages and a lot of mea culpa, a lot of heaviness that the church put on, the guilt. And what Francis said, and I'd like us to reflect on today, is no, what God created is good. The goodness in all of creation, the goodness in every person. And for us to really embrace the truth and reality that I am good and that I am created in goodness. And it was such a liberation for the people to experience that back in his day, to be liberated from the heaviness of the burdens of guilt that people were carrying. Um, and it's not that we don't do bad stuff. we, we'll find ourselves caught in traps and stuff. But the message really is goodness, that we are good, and that's the basis of who we are. And Francis would always say, if you want to understand or know the Creator, just go in creation, and you'll see the awe and the wonder of the creativity of the Creator in creation, and and we're all part of that. So Francis, when he would be walking along, would just bow before the beauty of God's creativity in every person he met. And so may we do that, or learn, or see where we are with all of that. That I am good, that I've been created in goodness, and I'm being called into living a life of goodness. So that's my thoughts for today. So so maybe we can just spend a moment and ponder that. Maybe you could just write the words if you're journaling at all, I am good, or if you're just in that quiet place, to just say those words, I am good. Do I believe that? How does it make me feel? And as we take this reflection into the week, maybe we can just sit with that. I am good, and every person I encounter on life's journey has been created in goodness too. Probably just not aware of it. We're not living out of that place, but that's the truth. So let's just invite the Spirit to take us through the memories or the experiences that we've had this past week and settle into those moments that were especially wonderful or good or life giving, or we experienced the gracious presence of the Spirit somehow. And let's just relive that experience, feeling the feelings again, letting it nurture our souls. Maybe we can do some writing about it. And what might God's message be to me in and through this experience that was so wonderful and positive and life giving? And so now let's invite the Spirit to gently guide us again through the experiences of our past week. And let's land in that moment or experience that was especially difficult or challenging, that we might need to pay some attention to feel the feelings again. And what was that all about? Is there a message there for me in this experience? And is there any other message that I might be receiving from this difficult, challenging situation? Is there a call to forgiveness in some way, a call to honor my feelings and be really with them and what's underlying the feelings? So may we be open in the midst of these challenging moments to receive what it is we're called to receive. And maybe we can just spend a moment to see if there's anything else that has shown up this week that I might need to prayerfully pay attention to. So now we can do some reflection on the Psalm by Nan Merrill. It's Psalm 1. So um, let's see how it might speak to us. So I'm going to read it 3 times. The first time, just sort of stay with the message or the word or whatever spoke to me. The second time, we'll explore why that word, phrase, or message seemed to stick to me today. What's going on in my spirit that's triggered something or spoke to me in some way. And the third time, we'll just offer a prayer in response to the message. So here goes. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, who stand in virtue, who sit in the seat of truth. For their delight is in your spirit of love, and in your heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water that yield fruit in due season, and their leaves flourish. And in all that they do, they give life. The unloving are not so. They are like dandelions which the wind blows away. Those who turn away from your heart will know suffering and pain, and they will be isolated from wisdom. Your love knows the way of truth, but the way of ignorance will perish. Your penetrating light breaks through hearts filled with illusions. Forgiveness is the way. So I'll read it through a second time and we can explore why the message seemed to speak today. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, who stand in virtue, who sit in the seat of truth. For their delight is in your spirit of love, and in your heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water that yield fruit in due season, and their leaves flourish. And in all that they do, they give life. The unloving are not so. They are like dandelions which the wind blows away. Those who turn away from your heart, I'm going to change this a bit and say, will have the resources in their suffering and pain. And they will be isolated from wisdom. Your love knows the way of truth, but the way of ignorance will perish. Your penetrating light breaks through hearts filled with illusions. Forgiveness is the way. So I'll read it through a third time now, and we can just respond quietly in our hearts with a prayer. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, who stand in virtue, who sit in the seat of truth. For their delight is in your spirit of love, and in your heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water that yield fruit in due season, and their leaves flourish. And in all that they do, they give life. The unloving are not so. They are like dandelions which the wind blows away. Those who turn away from your heart will not have the resources for suffering and pain, and they will be isolated from wisdom. Your love knows the way of truth, but the way of ignorance will perish. Your penetrating light breaks through hearts filled with illusions. Forgiveness is the way. So let's now move into bringing those people that we're carrying in our heart or situations or the world, like India, into the sacred place of prayer, and that we can just bring them into this sacred presence, praying blessing upon them, those who we carry in our hearts. And I wonder if we can bring this theme that we're pondering into this prayer for others. Do I see goodness in them? And maybe we can bring ourselves in our mind's eye into this presence, sacred presence, and ask myself, do I experience or see or know that I'm good? Do I see goodness in myself? And if not, may I have the grace to recognize that I was created in goodness. And let's just end this movement of prayerful reflection as we again reflect on our past week. What's in there that I can be grateful for? You know, is there, that I can just offer some prayers of gratitude? I'm just so grateful for being able to do this. I just want to say why that phrase in the psalm, um, those who turn away from your heart will know suffering and pain. It was sort of like the previous theological belief that, you know, if you do wrong, you're going to be punished, or if something bad is happening to you, it must be because you've done something, you know, to have created that pain and suffering. Where I think we've come to know that that sort of happens to everybody. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. So I wanted to change to reflect that a bit more. If I can have that permission, I guess, from the greater one to change what was written here, to be more reflective. Like I think if we have that relationship with the divine, however we want to call that experience, but we know that we are in that relationship, that through the power of the spirit we're enabled to journey through suffering and pain with a much different perspective than not having that gracious presence with us. Anyway, that's my little thoughts about that. It's been wonderful to be with you, and I pray that you have a wonderful week, reflecting on goodness in you and in the people that you meet, that we can start to look at the world from a lens of goodness. So anyway, those are my thoughts this week, and just lovely to be with you. God bless you. Till next time.